So where does intellect and the mind fit into to Christian belief?
It is interesting, isn't it? The Bible never, for example, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength and mind is the first and great commandment. And the mind is certainly given an honoured place in the Bible. Indeed, the Bible needs an intellectual, needs a brain to read it for a start, or to listen to it. And you're right to say, yes, there are many of high intellect who have rejected the Christian faith, but equally there are many of high intellect who have embraced the Christian faith. So both those things are true. Why? How come? Well, because the Christian faith in the end is I remember one of the first things I thought about being Christian and so forth was, can you prove God's existence? You know, and you look at the books and you find there are proofs for God's existence, and then there are people who say you can't, and so forth and so on. But it doesn't work like that, because our Christianity is about a relationship. It's about a relationship with God, who is our Heavenly Father. It's about what all relationships are about, namely disclosure. I know you because you have unveiled yourself to me. You've revealed yourself to me. You've disclosed yourself to me. And as it is so, you begin to trust each other, or not, as the case may be, but you trust each other, you listen to each other, you do things together. Is your intellect involved? Of course. How could it be otherwise? The whole person is involved. But it is a relational matter. And I think one of the reasons why people sometimes use their intellects, as I would say, as an excuse really, is because we don't want to relate to God. Because we think we know, that if we relate to God, he'll take our freedoms away. And we want to be free. And so therefore, it's not so much that it's impossible to believe in God because of intellect. It's rather impossible to believe in God who demands your worship and who seeks to relate to you as God. So intellect, yeah. I've had my doubts. I've been through, when I was at theological college, in the second year at theological college, I went through a great period of doubt, intellectual doubt. And no one panicked. That was good. And gradually I began to see, that's how the pieces fit together. And you can't live in this world without doubts. I do. But on the other hand, I also live in a world in which I know God because he has made himself known to me, and he is the one I trust more than anyone else in the whole world.
So talking of those doubts, I mean, the reality is, if you don't mind me saying so, you've now lived through quite a bit, through the 60s, and did you talk about it earlier, through the 70s. You were actually educated in some of the great, to go back to that word, secular institutions like Sydney University and Oxford. You maintained your faith through all of that. So why today, sitting here, do you still say, I am a Christian?
Yeah. Because there are some who aren't, of course. Some people I started the race with have fallen away. Others have joined. But John, I think I would say this, that I'm not a Christian because I'm a good person. On the contrary, I'm a Christian because I'm not a good person, and I know I need forgiveness. I'm not a Christian because I'm a highly intellectual person, which you've overstated, though I do have brains, and I have been to these great universities, and I have read all the other books. I've read the books against as well as the books for. Bertrand Russell, Why I'm Not a Christian. In the end, I'm a Christian because of Jesus Christ. I've read his story. I've read it in the 4 Gospels. I keep reading it. I can find no other explanation for him and for what he did and said than that he is who he said he was, which is the Son of God come amongst us to save us, to forgive us. There's an extraordinary moment when he is crucified, you know. Fortunately, the Bible doesn't really describe crucifixion. Unspeakable. A horror unspeakable. And Jesus says, as he's being crucified, Father, he prays to his God, Father, forgive them. He prays for the forgiveness of those who have nailed him up, stripped him off, and left him to the birds. Well, there's another moment when a leper comes. Lepers were treated, stay away, stay away, stay away. This leper arrives and he asks for healing from Jesus. And just incidentally, the story goes, Jesus looks at him and touches him. He did what no one else would do. He touched the leper. And that in a million other ways, as I read the gospel, I'm reading about a real man. I'm reading things that he really said. I'm reading things he really did. He wasn't mad. He wasn't evil. He is the Son of God. And I just trust him.